Okay, we gotta talk about CARAPAR. What a good set. He looks cool, and he has some of the best Bionicle pieces ever. They are so helpful for building your own custom LEGO creations. So let's discuss CARAPAR as a set, and showcase heaps of different ways that you could use his pieces in your own LEGO creations. Let's go. So CARAPAR came out in 2007, which many describe as the best year for Bionicle sets. He was a part of the awesome Barraki, which, again, people describe as some of the best Bionicle villains ever released. Now, unlike previous years of Bionicle, where every villain set was just a clone of each other with very few design changes, like obviously the color scheme change, the weapons would change, and sometimes a few other minor elements as well, the Barraki were the first villains to all share very different designs. Their uniqueness and the variety made them super special. And like the advertising said, they were creeps from the deep. They were some of the most terrifying looking sets ever. They rock. But CARAPAR was my favorite of the bunch. I loved his big, chunky, brute-like look and feel, and he was, clearly the powerhouse of the team. The face design is also just wonderfully menacing, but also kind of adorable at the same time, if I'm honest. Those eyes look like he feels so much, but can only express it through anger and rage. Poor dude. Anyway, I very much enjoyed playing with this cool crab pincer weapon as a kid, and the toy posed very well. There was just a lot to love. Except, however, for the squid launcher. I always had mixed feelings about this thing. As you can see from this video, it's not an easy thing to fire. And it's not particularly easy to aim either. Even at close range, it's hard to hit the target. And sometimes the squid wouldn't even leave the launcher when you fired it as well. Now look, it can hit the target eventually, but I think this is one of the weaker firing mechanism gimmicks that came in any of the Bionicle sets, in my opinion. But apart from that, the set's perfect. However, the best thing this set offers are the pieces that come in the set. CARAPAR has uniquely coloured armour pieces. Now, this colour is referred to as bright light orange with marbled trans brown pattern. It's the only set to ever include this specific colour, so it's great that you get so many pieces that use it in the one set. These parts are just so cool looking, aren't they? And I think that they're some of the easiest pieces to use on any LEGO creation because they're so versatile. So let me show you why I think that's the case with a couple examples. We'll start off with a revamp of CARAPAR built by Dylan Meaves that has reimagined CARAPAR as a literal crab. I mean, the set is inspired by a crab, so why not just make him an actual crab? It's silly, but it's a really fun idea. Now, it's great to see these CARAPAR head pieces combined with the armor plates from this set. They form the perfect crab pincers. And don't those same armor pieces work flawlessly as crab legs? And then merging those head pieces with some of the torso armor pieces. Well, you get a crab shell that matches the look and feel of a crab flawlessly. It's like these pieces were born to be used on Dylan's Mock. They're just the ideal match for a crab. Up next, we have this CARAPAR revamp built by Crow. Now, they've used all these wonderful CARAPAR pieces to pull off a clean and crisp looking overall design. I mean, look at all the different ways that Crow has used those pieces to form beautiful torso armor. That's so good. I do, however, enjoy these dark tan highlights that have been added onto the build, using them to make cool crab pincers, having some clawed feet, but most importantly, these claws that are coming out of the eyes. It's terrifying. He really does look like a creep from the deep now. Suddenly it's almost got a bit of a zombie aesthetic going on. And this cool, unique coloration of CARAPAR's armor pieces, well, it actually starts to resemble the look of a zombie. That aged, decaying, almost dirty look to them. It fits a horror vibe very, very well. So there's a lovely example of them creating really good armor and matching a perfect undead vibe. So already we've got two very different designs, but these CARAPAR armor pieces fit those specific demands of each build very well. Now let's see a few other ways that they've been used on totally different creations. So on Jaffers Mock, Honeylance Nell, these pieces complete a bee-inspired design in all the right ways. Their yellow and marbled black coloration is just ideal for this mock. And what was once a headpiece or used for a crab shell is just ideal for a dress design on this mock. And using the armor pieces for like vambrasses or head armor, perfection. When you pair these up with pieces like this lance that has this black and gold stripe pattern to it, and these Gorast wing pieces, you get the best bee mock you've ever seen. Although this bug-like mosquito mock, which is called Zaflia, and it's built by Eclipse Caller, well, it's wonderful as well. The colours of the CARAPAR armour pieces work great in this context. They have a slimy, stinky, sinister bug-like look to them that really fits an enemy boss or just some sort of mob that you would see in a horror video game. It works so well for that. Another nice thing about this mock, we can see some black and gold pieces integrated with these CARAPAR armor parts. It's great to see those CARAPAR pieces pairing so well with other colors. It's nice to know that if you're building a mock with these parts, you can pair them perfectly with plenty of other different things, and a couple other colors are going to work flawlessly. And speaking of pairing colors, Jaffers Mock here, Azazel, has partnered those CARAPAR pieces with trans dark blue and black, and oh, it looks amazing. The hints of black that naturally reside in these CARAPAR pieces, they make for a very fitting addition for any kind of villain character. And you complement that with Jaffers' very special non-production Strack mask that shares the coloration of these CARAPAR pieces, then you got something very special. And baby, the ways to use these pieces just keep on coming. I adore this mock by Rubaldon, and it's called Purity. It depicts an alien creature living in some kind of sci-fi landscape with other minifigure alien-like companions. Now this mock takes advantage of the unique textures of these pieces. They have a slimy, aquatic look to them, and in this context, they almost kind of resemble the texture that you would see on a slug. Isn't it nice to see the texture of this piece used so effectively to communicate the fact that this is a foreign, alien creature from a whole other world? What an exquisite way to use these pieces that's so different to what we'd already been looking at. And finally, Rockmonster 2000 has crafted this beast here, called Scuttling Death. It's an almost Lovecraftian or eldritch looking creature with this big mouth and horrifying teeth. And the CARAPAR armor matches this horrific look very well. Now sure, it's similar to the look of Crow's CARAPAR, but I don't know, the way that a lot of eldritch characters look, they often have this feel about them that's so gross and deformed, and sometimes it can even look like they have stitched together skin. And I think these pieces fit that vibe perfectly. So I'd say that this is a very subtly different look from that classic zombie vibe that we were getting before. But that subtle distinction, it's so incredible that this piece can pull off both of those different vibes. So we've seen countless examples of all sorts of different ways that you could use these armor pieces, from crabs, to well-crafted armor, to bees, to bugs, the villains, and all kinds of other different horror-themed characters. Look at how versatile these pieces are. Not just from their unique coloration, but also the way that they look, the texture of them, and how well each of these different pieces integrate with each other. It's just insane how good these pieces are for building. So many uses, and so easy to make stuff look good with them. Now look, if you want to buy CARAPAR right now on Bricklink, he's not too expensive, thankfully. I was expecting him to be worth a lot more given how good he is. If you want to get one sealed, yeah, that might be a little bit more pricey. He's about 90 Australian dollars or 60 USD, which is a little bit too much. But if you want to buy him out of the box, he's way cheaper, roughly about 38 Australian dollars on average, which equates to about 25 US dollars. Not too bad for an older set. I mean, here's a couple listings right now that you could go on Bricklink and buy immediately. They're in pretty decent condition and they're pretty cheap. So hey, it's totally worth buying this set for its pieces. I recommend you do so. So yeah, what a great set. And what a great parts pack. So much to love. But no matter how much I love CARAPAR, I'll never love him as much as Little Fuse Mock Designs does. They are currently in the process of buying 100 CARAPAR sets. It's really cool to see someone army building a Bionicle set like this. These are some really fun images. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review of CARAPAR today. Be sure to check the links in the description to see links to all of the mocks that I showcased in this video. Be sure to check out some of their other work, maybe leave a like or follow them on their social media. They're very talented builders. Hopefully you got a bit of inspiration too from seeing all the different ways that you could use these pieces. Thanks for watching, happy building, and bye for now.